because the videos are way too long for it to go through Gmail. I've wanted it to just upload, like, instead of saving to my iPad, to save to Drive, but that's, like, not an option.
Why?
Because I upload all the videos to Drive anyways, like, to save them so that they don't have to stay in, like, iCloud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're also on YouTube, so that doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
I wish there was a way to, like, upload right away. It would make life so much easier.
I didn't see the notes for calculus last
Well,
That's good.
Did you? Oh, you didn't even try.
I didn't remember.
it's a fail on my part. It's fine. We'll just watch them in class.
That'll work.
All right.
Can I get my phone out to look at? I don't even know what. Something school.
Sure.
At least he's honest.
He's like, I don't know what I want to look at. I just want to be on my phone. A college admissions officer defending the college's use of SAT scores in the admissions process produced the graph below, aka what's on page 217. It shows the mean GPAs for the last year's freshmen grouped by SAT scores. How strong is the evidence that SAT score is a good predictor of GPA? What concerns you about the graph, the statistical methodology, or the conclusions reached? So, what do we notice, or, like, what do we think about, like, the strength?
Big, strong.
Yeah. Moderately strong, I would say. So there's moderately strong evidence.
My bad.
Because the graph appears linear. Now, what do you notice about the way that they specifically have presented this data?
Like the numbers they chose, or like the graph they chose? Like,
Kind of all of it. I mean, it's not going to all be the exact same thing, but like specifically, what is concerning about the graph? What kind of graph are we normally looking for when we're doing association?
Scatter plot.
What is this?
Not a scatter plot. I forget what these are called. Just a line graph?
model?
Yes, a line graph.
Wow, reverse.
Thanks.
That's something right.
I mean, I saw a line.
So-
just figured.
The data is presented as a line graph, but it should be a scatter plot. Now, what do we notice about the scores? Or what appears to have happened with the way that they've presented this?
The higher the GPA, the higher the score. Or like the other way around.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
both. So it appears that the higher your SAT score, the higher your GPA is. Now, for myself, my GPA was a 4.2 something, but my SAT score was a 1040.
Because the SAT
Not
sucks.
be accurate on this graph.
Right. So what do you think might have happened?
It's like averaging, like the.
So to me, it kind of looks like this admissions person just pick and chose who fit his model for what he was looking for. So it kind of seems that he chose specific scores and GPAs to illustrate this because, let's be real, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people is not really sufficient to give an accurate representation of this, which also hence why he should have used a scatter plot. So I would say the admissions officer appears to have chosen specific scores and GPAs to illustrate his point.
Are all of our, like as of now, all of our grades final for the quarter?
I think so.
Okay. I was gonna ask about.
Calculus, I put in the test grades earlier.
Yeah, I think my calculus grade went down.
What is it right
In
now?
physics, are we still we dropped the lowest quiz, right?
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Because I was going to put in the worksheet y'all did yesterday as a quiz grade on this.
There was one question on that we were gonna ask you about it because we didn't know how to do it. Like,
That's fine.
It was like one of the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Like my lowest grade on any assignment in calculus so far is 100.
He was like, yeah, my grade went down to a 101.9.
Well, I remember it was like 102.
I feel so much pity for you.
All right. So number 12.
That's that high though.
I'm not.
My lowest grade recorded was only a 35.
Oh, for English.
Yes.
So number 12 is going to be kind of interesting. So there wasn't really a good way to like set up this question. So there's 4 scatter plot graphs we're looking at. But I say that from the perspective that there are 4 parts to this question. So we're answering 4 things about each graph. So what I'm probably going to do is underneath 1, I'm going to put A, B, C, D, 2, same thing, 3, like all the way down. So essentially each thing will have 4 things under it, and so graphs are labeled A through D. So got A, B, C, D. So about each graph, we're going to look at basically, is the point unusual? Does it have high leverage, a large residual, or both? Do you think the point is influential? If we removed it, is the correlation going to become stronger or weaker? And then if we remove the point, would the slope of the regression line increase or decrease? So you'll have to kind of just look at your graphs on there, but just as a refresher, for an outlier, it's a point that stands away from everything else, which we've been dealing with for a while. For something to have high leverage, the x value is far from the mean of the x values, so essentially it's like way off to the side. It's not lined up with the other x values. And then for influential, if we were to omit it, it's going to drastically change the linear model. It typically will change the slope of the line. High leverage can be influential, but they don't have to be, just as a reminder. So On A, and I think we'll just do like A all the way down. So like we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4 for A, and then we'll go back and do B and so on and so forth. So A, we've got a graph. It's got a point out to the left. All the other data is over to the right. So does this have like high leverage, large residual, small residual, both, neither?
High leverage.
Yep, it's high leverage.
Wait, what does high leverage mean again? That means.
That's like if the x value is far from the other x values.
Okay.
So it's like way off to the side. Now, it's kind of hard to see probably just by looking at it, but if we drew a slope of our line through those points, including that point, it probably has a relatively small residual, I would say. Or wait. I'm looking at the wrong problem. Disregard. I was looking at 11, not 12.
Oh, that's what I was looking at too.
However, it is still high leverage.
Yes.
But not small residual?
No, that one would be a large residual.
I thought I was supposed to be looking at the orange dot.
I know, it's a little misleading because it's not like lined up. Okay. It is, I would say, a large residual then on that one. Okay, part 2, do you think that point is influential? So if I remove that, is it going to change the slope of my line? Yes. If the point were removed, would the correlation become stronger or weaker? Explain.
Stronger?
Yep.
Okay.
Stronger because the scatter would decrease.
Wouldn't that make most of these like somewhat stronger then? Just because like if you take away that point, there's gonna be less scatter.
Some of them, but it depends.
Okay.
That one, everything else is pretty tightly packed together.
So if it's not tightly packed together, that's when it would be probably like weaker because it doesn't matter as much.
Possibly, yeah. Let's see, 4. If that point were removed, would the slope of the regression line increase or decrease? Which one? Increase. It would go up a lot faster than it currently is. Because if we have that in there, the slope's probably going to be something kind of like that. But if I remove that point, it's probably going to be more like that.
2 for 2 today.
Wait, this is actually being smart.
For one.
That's rude, Josh.
All right, then graph B. High leverage, large residual, both, neither.
High leverage. Maybe large residual. Is that like where we're looking like if a line went through them? Like
So if you drew a line through the points, so all of them are pretty spread, so you pretty much split the points in half. You want half the points below and half above. So if you did that and you laid it down, how close is that point to the line, essentially, is what we're asking.
okay.
So small
So
residual
it's
then?
small.
Yeah, so this one would be small. So high leverage because it's not close to the other x values, small residual. Do you think this point is influential?
Not really.
So if there's a small residual, it's probably not going to be super influential. Because it's not, if I remove it, it's not going to really change the slope of the line the way that it's going. So I would say, or wait. What? The book disagrees with me.
Did it say yes?
Yeah, but I'm looking at, I don't think it drastically changes it though. Because I wouldn't really draw the slope of this line any differently.
See, I mean, neither.
If it is there or if it's not. I mean, maybe a little bit. As if I went here, I have 4 above and 4 below. If I go here. I guess it would go steeper than it was, so I guess that's why they're classifying it as influential. Because the line would go a little more straight up than out, I guess, if we were to split it. So I guess we'll just say yes.
More on top, or-
Yeah, because, like, going through that point, like, if that point's included, like, it goes pretty close to it, but if I remove it altogether, it would probably bring the slope from being, like, this to being like this. So it just, I mean, it's not, I guess you could say that's drastic. I don't really know that I'd say drastically different, but they say yes, so I guess we'll just roll with that. That's one that I could see kind of going either way, though. Without numbers, it would be hard to know for sure. So if I remove the point, would the correlation become stronger or weaker?
It's possible
Strong.
for it to like stay the same or something. Like since it's really not much of a correlation already.
I mean, I think it'll probably become slightly weaker. Just because if you remove that, things are all over the place. When you have that, it kind of like reins things in a tiny bit. So I would probably just say like slightly weaker. Because if you kind of look at it without that as just like a normal scatter plot, we would definitely say that's like little or no correlation. So with it, it probably is just a little, like, if it's on it, it's probably a little stronger. If we removed it, would the slope of the regression line increase or decrease?
It would. Wait. Yeah, it would increase, right? Because the slope would be going up like that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely going to increase. The book is wrong. The book literally says, get this, I think they just have the wrong word written here. The slope would decrease because the outlier pulls the line from flat to positive.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that still
they-
be
Wouldn't that
increase?
mean increasing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I was like, I was saying increase, and then I looked at the back, and I'm like,
Wait,
decrease, and then I read their reasoning, and I was like, no.
they're just wrong.
Which is why I'm still a little iffy about that influential point one, but
I just put no,
It's
and then
fine.
I did an explanation, and I put or yes.
Or yes.
Like it could be.
I would personally have said that it wasn't that influential. I can see why they're saying it is, but I don't think that the difference is drastic enough I mean, they're saying nearly flat. I also don't know that I would say it's nearly flat. I would just say it's a little bit stronger. But it's fine. That one's kind of a weird one. All right, C. High leverage, large residual, small residual, low leverage, both, neither. What do you think?
Low leverage.
Yeah, low leverage
And
because it's in line with the other X values.
a large residual.
Yep, large residual. Because I can almost connect those dots with my pencil put down, so that one is pretty far off of the rest. What do we think? Influential or not?
Wait.
Differential.
How much is that going to change your slope?
Not much. Probably.
Yeah, probably not a lot. I mean, if without it, my slope is probably here. With it, my slope is probably like there. I mean, it's because it's only 1 point that's really pulling it, and because it's kind of like dead center, it's probably not going to affect it a whole lot. So I would say not influential. If I removed this point, would the correlation become stronger or weaker?
Stronger.
Yeah. Be like way stronger. Because everything's already so tightly packed together aside from that. And the reason for that one is, again, because the scatter would decrease, like, no duh. If I removed it, would the slope of the regression line increase or decrease?
Decrease, right? Because that would be like slightly lower.
Yeah, I would say about the same, maybe a slight decrease, to
Okay.
be honest. Because, I mean, like I said, it's very minimal change as tightly packed as those are. So, about the same, maybe a slight decrease. I'm a visual person, but I prefer there to be numbers put to things like this so I can actually tell what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather them give me, like, a list of points and tell me to put it in and then actually, like, omit the point that is the point they want me to, like, look at and see what happens. Like, I would rather be able to do it that way, but
Yeah.
it's fine. All right, last one. I guess it's letter D. I was about to say number 4. High leverage, low leverage, high residual, low residual.
High leverage. Maybe small.
Yeah, because if we put a slope through that line, I would say probably relatively small. So high leverage, small residual. Influential or no?
No. These won't like the lines stay very much the same.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not really going to change it, so not influential. To keep looking and make sure I'm looking at the right graph. If I removed it, would the correlation become stronger or weaker?
Stronger.
Weaker, maybe? Because then there's like less of a. Actually, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just looking. I'm not saying either of you are. I mean, obviously one of you is wrong, but
Because I feel like it would just be almost the same if you took it away, so I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I would tend to say it would probably be about the same. You might argue that it would be a little bit weaker because that would be more on the slope of the line going through. And then when you take that away, there's like more random scatter. So I would say it would be like maybe slightly weaker, but about the same. And what about the slope? Increase, decrease, stay the same?
s- Probably stay the same.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
I would say it stays about the same. I don't really see it changing by me removing the point and redrawing the slope. I still feel like it would go through where that point was, so. All right, any questions on that?
That actually made sense.
So 11 will be the, obviously, as we were attempting to do originally, 11 will be kind of the same as this. If you want to set it up the same way, that's fine. Anyways. And 17 is kind of like 18. There's a little bit more questions that go with it, but overall about the same, so.